Hello, YouTube. I just want to expound on what I had got out of the meeting this morning. Again, it was 7 a.m. meeting that I had shared. The readings were chapter 1, Bill's story. And page 5, about midway in the first paragraph, Bill states that he was unable to help himself by means of our own self-will. Because, we can't do this journey alone. For me, in my opinion, or for me, factually, I need him. I need my higher power. Went through an endless, continuous roller coaster in our addiction. Things would go good, then bad, then we get things, we lose things, continuous psychosis. On page 6, first paragraph, the last sentence, we would tell ourselves we'll be able to manage our addiction better next time. We got this. I'll just substitute this for that, or I'll do this or do that. And obviously it never worked. It didn't work for me, or I wouldn't be here speaking to you guys. On page 6 as well, last sentence, Bill says, he'll just drink some gin and it'll fix his hangover, or however he was feeling. He didn't feel good. He said he'll just continue to use to mask that feeling. Obviously that didn't work for him. On page 7, he states that he got in a medicine cabinet and found some gin to make himself feel better. He used that and also used sedatives to try to mask it and cover away his emotions, his sickness. That didn't work for him either. Page 7 as well. We were seriously ill, he said. He said he was seriously ill, and we are all seriously ill. We have an illness, and when you have an illness, you try to cure it, either by antibiotics or whatever it be. He tried to cure it with more alcohol, and the only cure that I'm seeing is this step work and the program, the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. Obviously, it's worked for others, so I'm going to try it out. Just like when I was out in my addiction, I tried new things because this drug had got them high, or that alcohol got them more drunk than the other. So I'm used to trying new things. So I'm going to try this just for today because I want to stay clean and sober. I want to live a productive life in society. On page 7, third paragraph, last sentence, he says that self-knowledge isn't the answer. What we were stirring up in our minds obviously did not work for any of us. Not for myself, I know. It just didn't work. My self-will is not how I'm going to achieve success or greatness or sobriety. I need these steps in my life and all principles and aspects of my life if I want to achieve greatness. And that's what the fellowship has designed. And in this Bill's story, chapter 1, he actually goes over the steps without even realizing he's creating the steps. He created them without even realizing, just by telling us his own story. On page 8, second paragraph, he even says that alcohol was his master. It ruled his life. His life revolved around getting his next drink, just like me, my next drink or drug. I woke up and checked my phone for some type of hustle. And if that didn't work, I went out and robbed, stealed, whatever, and it ruled my life. My life revolved around that. Everything else didn't matter. My family didn't matter. My means of being productive didn't matter. Nothing mattered besides that next drink or drug. Page 8, third paragraph, he says that he was insane. Insanity. He kept doing the same thing, like Einstein says, and expected different results, but got the same result every time. It never worked. It never worked. But this is what works. Page 9, paragraph 4, he says that a friend of his comes in, and he found religion. And now Bill is like, what? He wasn't trying to hear it. Bill got out a bottle and handed it to him, and poured him a glass, but his friend passed the glass back, and Bill was like, what? This is my old drinking buddy. Why would he do that? And he explains to Bill, I found religion. I have religion in my life now. And he didn't need that drink. He got God. Page 10, midway in the paragraph, Bill states that laws were set place to keep people in line in society, also a higher power for this individual that worked for him, and he was living by these laws and these principles in his life. Not Bill, but his friend, and it seemed to work. And Bill wanted what worked, because Bill was a real successful man at his time. His stockbroker was doing good. Every time he'd do good, he would fall, he would crash, and I'm sure we can all relate to that. Page 11 through 12, his friend seemed different to him. He's like, there's some type of aura around him. He's happy. He's doing good. He's got this higher power. Maybe I should try this out. Maybe I should try it out. I want to be kind of like him. When before he wanted to be like Bill. You know, the tables kind of turned. Page 12, paragraph 2, Bill states that our own conception of God, of our higher power, can be our God. We need something that we look up to in life, in the fellowship. And he says that you can have your own conception, which is one of the steps. A higher power as we understand him. You know, for me it's God. For you it might be different. The bottom of that same page, page 12, he says you have to have humble willingness, which is also a step. See, the steps are being placed. This is where the steps are being built. Humble willingness for change, for something better, to better your life. You have to humble yourself and accept the things that have happened to you that brought you down. But use them as a milestone in your recovery. Use them as something to look back on. Like, this is where I came from. This is what made me, actually. If I hadn't had my addiction, I wouldn't be sitting here telling you, you know, God has given me a calling, and I wanted to go into ministry, but this is how I'm going to minister. I'm going to minister to other people like me who are sick and diseased. You see, it makes me feel good to give back, because in the same return, it's keeping my recovery going. You know, at the bottom of page 13, Bill states, without him, he is nothing. Now, Bill is accepting God in his life, and he's telling us, without that higher power, he was nothing. He wouldn't have came into the fellowship had he had not seen his friend look up to a higher power, look up to God. Page 13, paragraph 3, it says, another step. He needed to list all the people he had done wrong. His bosses at the stockbrokership and all the people that looked up to him, he did wrong. He showed himself, proved that himself was an alcoholic and messed up all the time. And they had faith in him that he could do well because he was a good stockbroker. But this alcohol took over his life and grasped him. It held him by the neck and just kept him down. It binded him by chains, you see. And he had to understand that. He had to take that first step and admit that he was an alcoholic. And that's one of the hardest steps ever. You know, it took me a few years. I'm not actually going to expound on that because I want to get in. I try to keep these videos under 10 minutes. I want to expound on what I learned in church today as well. Again, so we'll finish this. Page 14, paragraph 5 and 6 is when the fellowship starts. Read that. Page 14 in your big book, in chapter 1, Bill's story. Read page 5, or paragraph 5 and 6 on page 14, and then this is where the fellowship idea starts. He thinks that maybe I should give out what was given to me. I want other people who are sick and still suffering to realize that there is a way out, and how great it feels, and how great you can be, and how productive you can be, because everybody has a gift. Everybody has a gift, and sometimes we found that gift, but we fall short of it because we let this addiction take us down. But Bill wants to give back, and the fellowship is starting. Now, I got about a brief minute. On this church bus, I had to ride a bus with needy people that had mental illnesses, and God opened, he tells me, he says, man, you know, it's really not that bad. You could be mentally incapable of speaking to others. You know, and it was annoying. People were coming up to me. This one lady, she tried to hold me captive, I thought, because she has a mental illness. But I could be worse off. But today I'm good. All right, thank you, YouTube. Checking out.